Miss Kenya Universe Irene Ngendo finally breaks her silence. What has been going on with her? The saga and the drama with Miss Universe is a never-ending story. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Miss Criticizer 2021. Hope you all are doing well. If you're here for the very first time, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell because I am coming with as much update as possible in regards to pageantry, in regards to entertainment, in regards to what's happening actually in this social life. Now, I just want to share my perspective, yeah? We all have questions. Everybody has questions in regards to this whole Miss Kenya thing. People were asking, is Irene a bit of a diva? Did she feel that she did not get her way due to poor performance in Miss Universe? Does she think that she is too good for Miss Universe Kenya? Did she not follow Miss Universe Kenya's guideline and everything that is required from her as a reigning Miss? Did she think that she was too good? Who the hell did she think she was? Oh, Miss Kenya, terrible clothes. Oh, Miss Kenya, worst fashion. Yes, these were the criticisms that Irene has been slammed with. The backlash. And I'm not going to lie. Yes, I was one of them. You people don't want to hear it. Miss Eritrea and Miss Kenya. They're the worst dressed for me. Yeah. Miss Kenya, you have a beautiful figure. And look, I don't feel your dress is that bad. It's okay for casual outing. If you come to Miss Universe, you need to stand out. It's a bit... Look, I know you like playful and all that, but come on now. It's only a few styles that I liked of yours. I think it's maybe these two styles. But for the rest, I'm like, come on. The ones that were the worst is Kenya and Mauritius. Yes. Kenya's one was the worst. I'm like, girl, what are you thinking? Like, you know, in the previous video when I said that she was the worst dressed, I thought, you know what, when it comes to the prelims, at least she's going to give it when it comes to the cultural wear and all the other things. Now, all the other things she did well, which I will get to that. But when it came to this one, oh my God. Nah, Kenya, you didn't try at all. You didn't try. Comes to the necklace, she needed to wear what the real Maasai, you know what the real Maasai warriors wear. The one that is beaded, the original one. It's like they just put a fabric there. In my previous videos, I criticized Irene, and it did not come from a malicious place. I was judging our African queens, their performance in Miss Universe. And I was one of those people who said, oh, Irene is the worst dress. And then when it came to the national costume too, I expressed my disappointment in her national costume. Now, I don't know what has been going on. Yeah, we have been hearing whispers here and there. I have not really been following it deeply, but I've been seeing stories that have been coming out. That they're painting out a narrative that she's a diva. That there were certain things the organization wanted her to do and she did not comply with that. So many questions. But I said, you know what, let me wait. Because I always want to be sure before I report on something. Yes. Because the reason why I'm saying that is that it's very easy to call somebody a diva. To say that somebody has bad attitude. To paint people in a negative light. But I always say that that's character assassination. You have to be careful when you label people with this. I always feel like there are two sides to the story. Yes, I'm sorry that you had to go through all of that. Yeah, I am really, really sorry because at the end of the day, this is the sad reality. And you ask yourself, what is it? The fact that it's disorganized? The fact that sometimes you're not being treated fairly? The fact that you basically have to manage your own self? So many questions. Now, let me go through the slide one by one and I'll tell you what I think about it. So Irene highlights the lack of training and the resources that she was promised. So it was a lot of things like public speaking, media training, catwalk, etiquette, lessons, styling consultations, you name it, everything that comes with it. They also provided her with the itinerary in preparation of Miss Universe in Mexico. So they had a whole list for her. You saw the entire schedule, and it looks like a very detailed schedule, very, very planned, very organized. Go live on Miss Universe Kenya page. They have how many things? They had their pet project launch, travel back to Nairobi, you name it, catwalk and fitness. Like, it looked like a solid itinerary which is supposed to last 1 month. So she said that all those rumors that are coming out, like she did not adhere to the rules and she was skipping out some of those classes, that was not true, because she even provided receipts. Yes, she provided text messages and said that she was able to be there. She even said that if it was not because of the kindness of the coach, they would have just stopped. So my question is, was the coach paid? Was the coach actually paid? Because the fact that the coach even had to still perform his duties to train her, and the fact that it was actually cancelled. What's going on here? So many things, even the media management, everything that had to be scheduled. So then now the wardrobe challenges. Who the most controversial one that we've all been talking about. Like I said, I've dragged her. Everybody dragged her in regards to this wardrobe challenges. And even just like what she said here. There were 19 outfits that she needed. Only 12 were provided, with most arriving incomplete and days before my departure. I had to borrow suitcases, shoes, and accessories, depend on friends and family to style and pack additional outfits to ensure that I was prepared. Oh my God. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. These are the clothes that were provided by the organization for her to wear there. These were the clothes. What kind of clothes are these? Like, and look, no disrespect to maybe whose boutique this is or who the designer is, but don't they think that this is Miss Universe that they're going to? Miss Universe that you'll be competing with 128 other women who are coming with their A game in the fashion department. They are coming to dress, to style. What kind of... Oh my God. What kind of... I'm going to be really, really ruthless. These clothes look cheap. These clothes, they really, really, really look cheap. I even bought some £5 clothes before. Sometimes I go to the market here. £5 clothes. That's sometimes it even looks better than this one. What kind of clothes are these? So cheap. What is wrong with Miss Universe Kenya? Oh my God. That's why Irene was struggling. She also mentioned that Miss Universe International, it's recommended to come with like roughly 50 clothes. Yeah. Towards the preliminary and towards the live. You do a lot of changing. Sometimes you wear 3 outfits for one day. Yeah, so even she said that she suggested to the Miss Kenya organization that please, maybe it would be best if you could just supply me with 43 clothes. And they're just like, listen, these are all the clothes we have. I think it was roughly 14 clothes, 15 clothes, and whatever. If you like, you can combine it. So she's like, damn, stuck on a crossroad. She basically had to borrow some clothes, had to be styled by some friends and family, basically had to be supported on the other end. And, oh my God, and these clothes. I said they just took the piss. They said, listen, we are just going to get the cheapest outfits from AliExpress. The cheapest outfits from AliExpress, like the 5th class China outfits. And listen, I'm somebody, I buy affordable clothes. I'm not being bougie. I buy affordable clothes. I even got this from Asda, the supermarket, the clothes department. And this one, I actually bought it when there was a discount on it. It's like, what, £13? And it looks good. But this one, hi, come and see the quality. So bad, so inflammable, and you want her to go and represent. This is basically sabotaging. This is basically sabotaging. I think Miss Kenya, you people did not want Irene to win. You basically sabotaged her. So she was left on her own and basically to be dragged. Hence why we dragged her for her outfit. Now she made it work because she has a presence. You know, I still commended her that she has confidence, she has a presence, she can make something work. You know, so she also still tried a bit. And I know she might not have been comfortable with the whole thing. And even on top of that, the worst of all is that this happened a few days before her departure. They did not even deliver all the clothes at the same time. I think there was one day that they delivered 4 clothes. And then the other days, 3 days before departure, they sent the remaining 4. So she was only stuck with 7 clothes. And mind you, there was no accessories, no shoes that came with it. Basically nothing. Also, we also see in the group chat, I think it was a group chat full of fans and the supporters, that, you know, they had their grievances, complaining about how cheap the outfits looked. She herself even had to order like backup clothes because she could not rely on the organization. That's how bad it is. So now we're going straight into the visa delays. You know, if any of you can recall, Miss Kenya was, I think she was like 2 or 3 days late in Mexico. I don't think she was the worst. I think Zambia's one was even the worst. Like she really arrived late, like 6 days. But I remember when Miss Kenya, she kind of arrived late. And so she was detailing the timeline from when she won. She won, I think, around 16th of August. They asked for her passport, I think, first week of September, like let's say 4th of September. And then can you imagine, they applied for her visa towards the end of September. And mind you, Miss Universe is when? Miss Universe was mid-November. Even they usually arrive like the 2nd of November. They had to arrive early. So why? Miss Universe Kenya. Oh my God. I even think immediately after the person wins, at least I'm giving you 3 days. After 3 days, you should even start applying for the visa. Yes! After 3 days of her win. So the visa should have even still been applied in August, because you never know how these things work. Trust me. I've applied for visa. If I do it, I make sure that, hey, I apply it far in advance if I travel somewhere. Why? So, unfortunately, there were delays. Yeah, so basically she had to write to Miss Universe International if they could be of any support, you know, to speed up the process, because it seems like they were just left with 3 days before departure. And then her national, I think she reached out also to her national team, which is Miss Kenya, and they said, oh, why can you not apply for the Schengen visa? And so, thank God, I think it was like 2 days after that she got the visa. But mind you, it is already day 3 in Miss Universe that she was supposed to arrive. So I'm not even sure if she had it through the Schengen or the usual way. But this is very reckless, because I can imagine how you can panic. Like, visa application is such a risky thing, and things like this, you need to start it earlier in advance. The people working at the visa office, they don't care if you have an event going on at times. Sometimes they don't care. They can be really ruthless with immigration. So these things, you started far in advance. They had, oh my God, they're so disorganized. Anyway, let me move on. This is a non-ending issue. I think now she's going to touch down on the contractual and ethical concerns. So in this text, she said, weeks before my departure, I was presented with a new contract and pressured to sign under coercive conditions. I was informed that certain payments, including funds for essential gowns, would be withheld if I don't comply. These facts undermine the trust I had in the organization's leadership. Whoo! This is even another juicy one. This is also another reckless situation, and that is in regards to the new contract that was presented to her. And mind you, this happened 3 days before her departure. They came with a last-minute contract, and they basically gave her an ultimatum. And they said that she has to sign that contract. If she does not sign that contract, then they're not going to pay her monthly installments, and also they will not fund her gown. And she's like, where is all of this coming from? Because you cannot force me to do this. And like she said, it's very, very unprofessional for them to do this. Because she was blindsided with this whole thing. She said she does not agree because there was already a verbal agreement where there was this dress that she funded. I believe it was like roughly $2,000, and which the organization, they're due to pay her. So she doesn't understand where this is coming from. And if I understand this correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Irene, you went wrong in that field, yeah? We don't do verbal agreements in this day and age. Everything needs to be in writing. You need things in writing, signed, sealed, delivered. We need a physical contract, and this contract should have done. Now again, I'm not sure what is going on and all that. She is saying her side, and of course her side is very, very believable, yeah? But immediately after she wins, that contract should have been presented immediately to her in regards to the terms and the conditions and what she needs to do as the reigning queen. What is required from her, her requirements. And then she has to sign it. So this last minute contract that is coming, also I don't understand it. But Irene, please, verbal contract. Aish! Aish! It should not even exist in your ears. Verbal contract has messed people up. In which law? Verbal contract. Either you keep things, it's good you keep receipts and you keep emails and you keep text messages. Very, very good. But when we do contract, paper, signed, sealed, delivered. Hi. Anyway, let me go to the national costume one, the most controversial one. So there was this girl, Cynthia. I believe she was the original designer for the national costume, and to be honest, her costume was good. They had everything ready, they were prepared, and so she expressed her disappointment with Miss Universe Kenya, how it seems like they no longer went with her concept, and then it's like they just stood her up after all the work, after everything that she put in. It seems like she didn't even receive pay for that. After she wasted her time, her resources and everything, they just stood her up. And so Miss Universe Kenya, Miss Kenya, they went with another concept, and they didn't even discuss this with Irene. They did not consult this with Irene. So it just happened so last minute. And mind you, they were still designing that second backup national costume while she was still in Mexico. They had to send it there. It was incomplete. So Irene said, listen, I cannot even rely on these people. I'm just going to stick with my backup outfit. She also talked about all the misinformation that was spread about her. You know, especially the fact that she said, oh, she just wanted another outfit 2 days before the arrival. She wanted to make changes. And so it was just a hot mess, you know. I think she even tried to compensate Cynthia, who was the original designer. So they put out the narrative that Irene just went there to promote herself. She did not give a damn about any of their rules, about any of their requirements, and she just wanted to do her own thing because all she wants to do is just promote herself. Even though she is like an employee, she is a representative of Miss Kenya Universe. And she said she has always been consistent with her advocacy, which, to be honest, I discussed in a previous video when I was doing the African Queens and their advocacy, which was a self-promoting book. And so I don't see anything wrong with it, because at the end of the day, her advocacy also needs to be highlighted. Call it self-promotion, call it whatever you want. But I don't understand what they're talking about. Everybody who is going on Miss Universe, they're there to represent themselves. And of course, your brand. It's a win-win thing. It's 50-50. What do you expect them to do? To just go there as robot and not do anything? This is clearly self-sabotage. She even said that she was prepared to compensate in any of their shortcomings, because she knows that this organization, this is their first time running it. And she said, you know what, she didn't have a problem. Even if it was collaborating, not an issue. But for her, the highest, what really got to her was when they were so indifferent towards her after this competition, and they gave her the silent treatment, and they're putting out this narrative of her out there. Also, their lack of accountability, especially when the public had complaints. They were basically silent. And after that, she just wants to give thanks to all the people that supported her, all the people that basically at least did everything, you know, in regards to their shortcomings. So let me just give my conclusion on this whole thing. Gosh, this is a long ass video. This is, you know, Irene, I'm so sorry to what happened to you. You know, I think this has happened to many other people. We know that when it comes to pageantry, especially within Africa, hey, it is not perfect. It is not perfect. There have been so many issues. There are even some of the things that I'm going through, you know, and I'm going to do a video in regards to that. It's bad management. It's the fact that they lack accountability. They want to save cost. And also looking at this whole thing, yeah, because I've googled Miss Kenya, and I've seen that Kenya only placed once. They've only placed once. It does not matter which organization it was. They've only placed once. And aside from that, it seems like this new organization is taken over by Honorable Ababu. I'm not sure if he's MP or something like that. He has now taken over the franchise. And I actually watched Miss Kenya this year, the universe. I didn't watch it till the end when Irene won, but I watched the show. And they even invited the original Miss Universe winner from the previous year, Miss Shanice, and also Olivia, who is the VP. And they all wanted to do the show off like, yes, look at us, we have a good competition. And you would think that it's prestige. But then look at how you treated this girl. Also, Irene, you know, the mistake that you made is that, listen, like I said, we don't do verbal contract. Should have had an official contract. Because if you had this official contract, you could have actually sued them. Yes, you could have sued them. For all this emotional stress, the fact that you even had to pay out of pocket so many times, the fact that you were barely supported, the fact that they did not fulfill their duties as the organization. Look at the itinerary. Look at all the things they promised her. And they barely fulfilled it. She was left on her own. And especially with the outfits and everything. Imagine being dragged when you're in Miss Universe and people talk about your poor dressing, the fact that other girls are standing out more than you are. People questioning, is this girl even a miss? And the thing is, look, no offense to Irene. She's a stunning girl. She's beautiful. I've always said she's so beautiful. She's stunning. She looks stunning. But the fact is that, for example, let's say aesthetic-wise, she's a bit on the shorter side. She's a bit on the shorter side. So that's a bit of a disadvantage. Yeah? She's a bit of on the shorter side. She's a bit curvy. Yeah? She's not like, let's say, slim, tall like the other miss. So you have to find ways to stand out. That's the thing even. Aside from that. So even there were many other short girls even, or other girls, they were not really that perfect. You even had Miss Trinidad. Miss Trinidad is a full-figured girl, but at least she dressed well. She had something to add to the presence. But the fact that in her case, my God, the negative outweighed the positive. And for me, what hit the nail, there was not really any outstanding moment. The evening gown was a bit meh. I'll say the only part where she stood out to me was the swimsuit round. That's it. And that's not to say that she didn't do well. She tried with what she could. But it's really, really sad how Miss Kenya went about it. For me, the visa part was so unacceptable. They just basically let this girl manage herself throughout. And the worst part is that after she came back, even though she was unplaced, she did not even get the proper welcome that she deserved. She didn't get the proper support. It seems like they just paid her dust. After how they treated her, why won't she resign? Miss Kenya, do better. Oh. Do better. I said I'm coming with a video. I said it before. I'm working on a video. I'm going to do the countdown from the worst organized pageant in Africa to the best. And that's not to say, look, we all criticize and we all say, oh, you're being mean. No, I say this so that we can improve. Because we have it in us to do better. Why? I know when it comes to pageantry, it's a lot of money. It's not a cheap thing. Pageantry, there's a lot of money involved. Yes? So we have the entry fees. Why can you not just come up with a contract and say that, okay, this is going to be the fixed amount. It's all going to be included in the budget once you make that one payment. And then from there, the organization can take over. Also with the help of sponsorships. These are things that we all discuss. With the help of sponsorships. So that the girls don't always have to be funding everything for themselves. That is what pageantry is about. But you see, that's why most of the time in Africa, they will just prefer you to, you know, a rich girl. Mostly they give the winning titles sometimes to the rich girls. The girls who are like maybe affiliated with higher people, you know, businessman's daughter or some politician's daughter. Because they can afford it. They know their way around things. Yeah, they know their way around things. Also, I'm hearing whispers that some of the organizers in the Miss Kenya is allegedly, they were not really happy for her win, and they did not really prefer her to win. It was rather the runner-up that they preferred to win. Now, this is hearsay. Again, but regardless, nobody deserves to be treated like that. Yeah, I'm going to do another video on this whole thing where I'll delve deep in. I'm still going to do the video on Miss Ghana because there's where I'm from. That's also another bit of a hot mess. But yeah, Irene, I'm glad you took this decision. You need to put yourself first. And I'm glad you spoke out so that that narrative of you being a diva is not out there. It's really, really good you spoke. But next time, hey, get an agreement, because if the agreement was there, you could have sued them. Yes, for treating you this way. Nobody deserves to be treated. It's like the organization, are they thinking right? It's like you just want to sabotage this girl. She's there to represent you instead of you to invest more in her so that at least she will place. You guys just thought that it was just good enough for you to host Shanice Miss Universe from 2023 and then bring in Olivia as the judge, and you guys thought, oh, by default you're selected for placement. It doesn't work like that. Oh my god. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think about this video. It's a long video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep the conversation going. Tell me what you think about it. Thank you.